My name is Cassidy Harmon. I am 34 years old. And 3 days ago, I drove myself home from the hospital with 3 stitches in my side and a voicemail on my phone that changed everything I thought I knew about my own family. I want you to understand something before I take you back to that Tuesday morning. I am not someone who makes scenes. I am not someone who sends long, angry texts or shows up at doorsteps demanding explanations. I am a labor and delivery nurse at Mercy General in Columbus, Ohio. I have held the hands of strangers during the worst and best moments of their lives. I know how to stay calm when everything around me is falling apart. But what I came home to that afternoon broke something open in me that I did not know was waiting to break. Before I go any further, if this story is already hitting something in your chest, please take a second and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. It helps more than you know. Now let me take you back to where this started. Tuesday morning, 6:45. I had a laparoscopic surgery scheduled at Riverside Medical Center. Routine. My gallbladder had been causing me grief for months, and my surgeon said it was time. My husband Daniel is a high school football coach. His team had regional playoffs that week, something he had been building toward for 2 years. I told him to go. My parents, Gary and Linda Harmon, lived 12 minutes away in the same suburb of Columbus where I grew up. I called my mother on a Sunday night. "Mom, I need you and Dad to watch Caleb and Nora on Tuesday. I go in at 7 and I should be home by early afternoon." She said yes the way she always says yes. Warm, breezy, without hesitation. "Of course, sweetheart. Bring them over early. I will make waffles. Caleb is 8. Nora just turned 6 in March. I packed their bags the night before. Clothes, snacks, Nora's stuffed giraffe, Caleb's library book. I wrote out their schedules on a notacard. Nora needs a snack by 10. Caleb does not like the crusts on his sandwich. I put everything in a manila folder because that is what nurses do. We organize. We label. We prepare for every possible thing that could go wrong. I dropped my kids off at 6:50. My mother hugged me carefully because she knew about the surgery. My father ruffled Caleb's hair. Nora waved from the front step. I told them I would be back before dinner. I believed that completely. 4 hours later, I woke up in recovery with a dry mouth, a dull ache under my ribs, and 14 missed calls from a woman named Carol Pryor. Carol is my next-door neighbor. She is 63, retired, and she waves at my kids every single morning from her driveway. Carol does not call once unless something is wrong. She does not call 14 times unless it is bad. I opened her text first because my hands were shaking too much to hold the phone to my ear. The first message came in at 12:18. "Cassidy, your kids are at my house. Your parents left. Please call me when you can." The second at 12:34. "Caleb is upset. Please call." I pressed the call button and she picked up before the second ring. She told me she had been gardening in her front yard when she saw my parents' car pull out of their driveway. She thought they were running an errand. Then she looked over and saw my children sitting alone on the front porch. Nora was crying. Caleb had his arm around her, telling her Grandpa said they would be back soon. That was over 2 hours before Carol found them. I called my mother from the recovery room. Still in a hospital gown, still tasting the anesthesia. She picked up on the third ring, and her voice was light and easy, like she was expecting a friendly check-in call. I asked her where my children were. She paused. That pause I have known my whole life. The pause that means she is deciding how to frame something. Then she said it. "Your sister had an emergency. We had to go. Her name is Brianna, my younger sister, and I want to be clear that I love her. But Brianna's emergencies have always floated to the top of every room she enters." What was the emergency? Brianna had a last-minute callback for a commercial audition in downtown Columbus. A callback she found out about that morning. My mother and father left my 6- and 8-year-old children on a porch in the May heat to drive my 31-year-old sister to an audition, and then they went for lunch after. I know this because Brianna posted the whole afternoon on Instagram. I did not respond to my mother. I said, "Do not come to my house," and I hung up. If you have ever been the child in your family that everyone leans on, but nobody looks after, you already know what I mean when I say this did not start on Tuesday. It started decades ago. I just kept convincing myself it had stopped. When I was 12, I won the district spelling bee. My parents did not come. Brianna had a dance competition that same Saturday. When I graduated nursing school, they arrived 40 minutes late because Brianna needed a ride from her apartment. I have a photo from that day. Me in my cap and gown standing between two empty chairs. When Daniel and I got married, we had a small backyard ceremony because we were saving for a house. My mother came, stayed 2 hours, and left to take Brianna to a callback. She gave us a card. Inside, she wrote, "We are so proud of you." No gift. Just the card and an early exit. I filed all of it under that is just how my family works, and I moved on. I had learned that asking for things was just a faster way to feel invisible. So I stopped asking. I handled everything myself. I built my life around not needing them, but my children needed them on Tuesday. And they left. I want you to stay with me here because this is where it gets important. When I got home that evening, Carol walked my kids across the lawn and handed them to me at my driveway. Nora ran into my legs, and I gasped from the stitches, but I did not let go. Caleb walked up slowly. He is 8, and he has already learned to read a room. He said, "Mom, I made Nora a sandwich at Carol's house because she was hungry." I knelt down right there on the driveway, and I held both of them, and I did not say a word for a long time. After they were in the bath that night, I opened Instagram. I had not looked at Brianna's page in months. I searched her name. The first post was a selfie from inside a casting studio, posted at 11:45 in the morning, 45 minutes before my surgery ended. Big smile, new outfit. Caption said, "Big day energy." Scroll down. A photo of her and my mother at a restaurant downtown. Posted at 1:30 in the afternoon. 2 glasses of white wine. My mother had her hand on Brianna's cheek. Caption said, "My girl is going places." At 1:30 in the afternoon, I was alone in recovery, reaching for my phone with hands that barely worked. At 1:30, Caleb was making his sister a peanut butter sandwich in a neighbor's kitchen because the adults responsible for them chose a wine lunch over a child's tears. I screenshotted both posts and put them in the Manila folder. Then I made a list. I called Ridgeview Lock and Key first thing Wednesday morning. New deadbolts on both doors. New garage code. The locksmith, a quiet guy named Dale, did not ask why I was changing my locks the morning after surgery. He just worked. When he finished, I gave 1 key to Carol, 1 to Daniel, and I kept 1 for myself. I did not make a copy for my parents. Thursday, I drove to Columbus Elementary and walked into the front office. I updated the authorized pickup list. I drew a single line through both of my parents' names. Added Carol Pryor as emergency contact. The school secretary watched me do it without a word. She has seen this before. Friday, I sat across from my attorney and removed my parents from our will, our medical directive, and our power of attorney. Daniel's sister in Raleigh was named in their place. Saturday, I called the insurance company and changed the contingent beneficiary on my life insurance policy. By the end of the week, every door between my parents and my children had a new lock on it. Some literal, most not. The calls came in waves. My mother went from cheerful to confused to furious across a series of voicemails I listened to once and did not return. My father sent a text on Saturday. 2 sentences. "Your mother is devastated. Please call her." I read it and set my phone face down. The following Sunday, I heard my mother's car in the driveway. She and my father came to the front door. Brianna was with them. My mother pulled out her key, the old one, and tried the lock. Nothing. She tried again. The door did not move. I counted to 5 before I opened it. She was holding a casserole dish. She smiled when she saw me, instinct more than warmth. I held up the Manila folder. I did not raise my voice. I showed her the school pickup form with her name crossed out. I showed her the updated will. I showed her the insurance confirmation. I showed her the Instagram screenshots, the casting studio selfie, the wine lunch, the timestamps. She stared at the photos. Her face changed in a way I had never seen before, not anger. Something closer to recognition. Then she pulled herself back together and said, "You will regret this." She said, "When you need me, I will not be there." And I looked at her and I said, "You were not there Tuesday." I stepped back and I closed the door. The new lock clicked. I heard 3 sets of feet walk back down the driveway. 3 car doors, an engine, silence. Daniel came around the corner from the hallway where he had been listening the whole time. He took the manila folder from my hands and set it on the table. Then he looked at me and said, "I am so proud of you." 4 words. Nobody in my family had ever said those 4 words to me and meant them about something I did for myself. 2 weeks have passed. My stitches are dissolved. I am back at work. Caleb is deep into a new Lego set and soccer practice. Nora still asks about Grandma sometimes before bed. I sit on the edge of her mattress and I tell her the truth in the simplest way I know how. Grandma made a choice that was not safe for you. My job is to keep you safe. That is the most important thing I do. She hugs her giraffe and closes her eyes all. I do not know what happens next with my parents. I do not need to know today. The hardest part of all of this was never closing the door. The hardest part was the 34 years I spent holding it open. 4 days. 6 changes. 1 door that does not open with the old key anymore. If this story reminded you to check who is on your child's emergency contact list, please do that today. And if you want to hear what happened, the first time my mother tried to contact my children's school after I made those changes, that story is coming next. Subscribe so you do not miss it.